with prayers. Just a second. So we will start with prayers in the introduction. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunatha Dasa and Raghunatha Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhara, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. O my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desert trees, and they're full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasa and all others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we are going to memorize these prayers as time goes by, and then we'll all take turns to recite them. So now we are in chapter 1, text 1. So we are going to do also one other thing is that we will have um, um, okay. So yeah, we will have one verse for memorization a week. So by the end of this 18 verses, 18 weeks, our goal is to at least have 18 verses memorized. So each week, we will post one verse audio and the verse in the group. And then, basically we'll also have a test on these verses so we can make sure that we are all reading them and memorizing them. Memorization is not just for, you know, uh, elementary students, but it's the Vedic system of memorization is even at 100 years old also, a person continues to memorize. So that way, the brain cells are kept active and yeah, there is a capability of doing that. Age doesn't matter. It's only a question of knowing how to memorize and how to retain it. So this week's memorization verse will be Canto 1, chapter 1, text 1. Anyone who don't know this verse, you can unmute and you can raise your hand and I can unmute you so you can recite after me and others can recite as well. Okay. Hare Krishna, Shri Vatsa Prabhu, yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha
Mamakah Pandavaschaiva
Mamaka Pandavaschaiva
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Kima Kurvata Sanjaya.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anybody else? Yeah, Srinath.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha
Mamakah Pandavaschaiva
Mamaka Pandavaschaiva
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Kima Akurvata Sanjaya.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Chandar Mataji, you're ready?
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha
Mamakah Pandavaschaiva
Mamakah Pandavaschaiva
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Kim Kurvata Sanjaya.
Thank you, Mataji. So what is the learning? The Sanskrit pronunciation guide is, if you see Dhritarashtra, the R is mentioned as half Ra, so that is a dot below R. That means R, Dhritarashtra. It's not Dhritarashtra, it's Dhritarashtra. There is a hyphen on top of A, that means it's a long vowel. Same way, Uvacha. It's not Uvaka. CA is always pronounced as CHA, cha. These are the rules of transliteration from Sanskrit to English. So that's why dharma, it's not setre, kshe. This yes or with a dot below, if you see, it is this sha. If you know the Devanagari script. Otherwise, it's pronounced as S and H, as shirt. Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yuyutsavaha, Mamakaha. There is a hyphen on top of first A, hyphen on top of the last A. This is short, this is long, and this is long. Mamakaha, Pandavas. So here if you see Pandavaschaiva. So this yes on top of the apostrophe sh. So it's not kaiva, it is chaiva, and pandava. This the dot under n denotes na, not na. Na as in none. Okay, it's not that na. Usually n is none, like that. It's na. Like I'm not able to get an example in Hindi for that. This na, this, the na that we write like this. So that is maybe mamakaha pandavaschaiva kim akurvata. Here it is together. Kima kurvata. So you can pronounce it like Kima kurvata Sanjaya. Okay. Any doubts in that? So yeah, Pandita, right. Okay. Reena Mataji, you have. I think you can unmute. Can you try unmuting?
Hello.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So the pace at which you read the verses, does it have an impact on, is there a certain pace? Like I know you say, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. If I were to read it as Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, one is the pace, the second is the clarity. So, what is the purpose of the verse other than revelation? Is it the imprint it leaves on you and then it builds over time, or does it have an innate capacity to reveal itself?
Yeah, I mean the pace is basically the meter that is designed for the verse, and it could be. I mean, it's not a very strict thing. What you can do, I mean, there is a prescribed meter, but
Hmm.
you can do what you can. Basically, some languages are usually people are used to speaking fast, some are usually speaking slow. But in the beginning, I mean, as this course is designed for those devotees who are doing Bhagavad Gita for the first time, so it's better I go slow pace so that once we
Yeah.
know what it is, then we can pick it up. And as far as I know, the pace, the meter, the pronunciation doesn't matter. But
Hmm.
anyway, since we are learning it, we can learn it how to pronounce it the right way.
Hmm.
Okay.
So what I said, was that okay? Decent?
Yeah, it was good. It was
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we are going to finish it and keep the questions towards the end better, so that we'll complete today's quota of reading. So this is going to be the memorization verse, and also Every Friday, 6 to 6:30, we are having a memorization class. Um, Yashita Mataji is leading that. We will post the information for that in the group as well. So those who can, US EST, Canada, Toronto time, Friday 6 to 6:30 on Zoom. You can join, and then there are one or two verses we will learn how to read, and everyone will recite, and then like that way every week we're planning to read read and memorize one or two verses. So now you can join that. We'll share the details. Okay. Can anyone read so we are going to, this shloka is for memorization, and from now on, we are going to read only the translation. Okay. For that, I think I should go here. So we want a volunteer who can read 5 verses, and then we'll stop. We'll discuss the 5 verses. So today's goal is to finish the half of the chapter, which is 23 verses. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Srinath Prabhu,
Yes, Mataji.
you can read the translation.
Okay.
First 5 verses.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Text 2, Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yuyodhana, Virata, and Drupada. There are also great heroic, powerful fighters like Drushtaketu, uh, Chekitana, Kasiraja, Purojit, Kunti Boja, and Saibya.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, who's starting? Who's the speaker of the first verse of Bhagavad Gita?
Dhritarashtra,
Dhritarashtra. Okay. Dhritarashtra is speaking to who?
Sanjaya.
Sanjaya. And what is he asking?
What? Because he was blind, so he was asking, what is happening in the Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra. Thank you, Prabhuji. So he could have asked what my sons, and then generally if we call our cousin brother also as brother, right? And the same way, our brother's children is also like our children, right? But
Right.
here, what is a significant thing that we can see of Dhritarashtra?
He is more worried about his own son.
Hmm. So he's saying, "Well, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do?" So he knows that they've assembled to fight, but still he's asking what did they do? Because out of anxiety, what did they have come into a compromise? Did my sons hand over the place because of the influence of the place of pilgrimage? So he always wanted his sons to win, and so that anxiety is palpable. We can see that in this verse. So he is asking, did they fight or did they do anything else? And mainly when he is asking, he is interested in knowing about his own son, right? So that's what Sanjaya is answering. So Sanjaya is answering about who?
About Dhritarashtra sons and Pandu sons.
Especially, who is Sanjaya talking about here?
He's talking about like Duryodhana and Pandu's sons.
Yeah, Duryodhana. So as soon as Dhritarashtra asked what my sons and sons of Pandu did, and Sanjaya answered that after seeing the arrangement in military formation by the sons of Pandu, so that means Duryodhana was a little overwhelmed seeing. I mean, he expected 5 people, 5 chariots, and maybe a little more, and which can be finished in no time. That's what his expectation was. But seeing that the Pandavas has amassed a great army, he was kind of fearful looking at this. Where did they get this much support from? Because Duryodhana was actively campaigning. Like Pandavas, like the Duryodhana was in power and he exiled the Pandavas. And imagine, like, president or prime minister election, if the other party is not even allowed to come in the kingdom, then he is only canvassing, going to everywhere, doing election manifesto. That's what Duryodhana did actually. But still, then he was surprised to see how huge the size of Pandava's army was. And he went to his teacher. Who was the teacher?
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya, yes. So he went to his teacher Dronacharya and spoke the following words. So, what is he saying? Usually, when we see the teacher, we first offer pranams, have a gratitude, right? But he was saying, see how the sons of Pandavas have arranged this great army. And who has arranged this army?
Son of Drupada.
Son of Drupada. Who is the son of Drupada? Drishtadyumna. Okay, so let me include the purport. So, I mean, homework is to read the purport, but here, can someone read this purport? Yes, Prabhuji.
Purport. Duryodhana, a great diplomat, wanted to point out the defects of Dronacharya. The great Brahmana, commander-in-chief, Dronacharya, had some political quarrel with King Drupada, the father of Draupadi, who was Arjuna's wife. As a result of this quarrel, Drupada performed a great sacrifice, by which he received the benediction of having a son who would be able to kill Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this perfectly well, and yet, as a liberal Brahmana, he did not hesitate to impart all his military secrets when the son of Drupada, Drushtadumna, was entrusted to him for military education. Now, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Drushtadumna took the side of the Pandavas, and it was he who arranged for their military phalanx after having learned the art from Dronacharya. Duryodhana pointed out this mistake of Dronacharya's so he might be alert and uncompromising in the fighting. By this, he wanted to point out also that he should not be similarly lenient in battle against the Pandavas, who were also Dronacharya's affectionate students. Arjuna, especially, was his most affectionate and brilliant student. Duryodhana also warned that such leniency in the fight would lead to defeat.
Mm. So, if we see the anomaly in this, right? Duryodhana, first of all, is finding fault with his teacher. And what was the fault that he found? His magnanimous nature. Okay. What was the magnanimous nature of Dronacharya? As soon as, Dronacharya and Drupada, okay, had some political quarrel. They both were in the same Gurukula. Once Dronacharya went to Drupada and he wanted to go and embrace him, remembering his previous days in Gurukula. But Dronacharya was a pauper and Drupada was a king. So Drupada kind of insulted Dronacharya that what, status you have to be calling, something like that. So Dronacharya and then was recruited by Bhishma Dev, and he taught military arts to both the Pandavas and Kauravas. And he asked them as a Guru Darshina that you go and bring Drupada to me. Conquer Drupada and bring him to me. So first the Kauravas went, I think, yeah, but they weren't able to defeat Drupada because he's very, very powerful king. And then next among the Pandavas, only Arjuna and Bhima went, or Arjuna, Bhima, and Yudhishthira went. Only 3 of the Pandavas went, and they were able to rout the army of Drupada and then bring him. Especially Arjuna was the one who conquered Drupada and brought him to Dronacharya. And his life, whether to kill Drupada was or not, was in the hands of Dronacharya. So he said, I'll give you half the kingdom because now your kingdom is mine. I'll give you half the kingdom. Now am I eligible to be your friend? So then Drupada took it personally, and he made a yajna. And the purpose of the yajna was to get a son who would be able to kill Dronacharya. So from the yajna came Drishtadyumna, and then there was a voice from the sky which said that this child will kill Dronacharya. And from the same yajna came Draupadi, and the voice from the sky said that this woman will be the cause of the destruction of the clan of Kshatriyas. So then everybody knew that it is Drishtadyumna who is going to kill Dronacharya, but Drupada came and entrusted Drishtadyumna as the student of Dronacharya. And Dronacharya, being a magnanimous soul, accepted him and taught him military secrets. Although he knew perfectly well that with this military secrets, he is going to kill me. Okay, that's what the voice said, but it doesn't. He didn't keep anything. He didn't hold anything from teaching to that son. So this was the glory of great devotees. Okay, and they had no fear, and they were magnanimous. And so Duryodhana is pointing out, you gave him military secrets, and what's he doing now? He is the military chief and commander of the Pandavas. And what happens? So same way he's indirectly hinting not to be lenient towards Pandavas. Always Duryodhana is calculative. So for such a calculative soul, it's very hard to bow down from the heart. Be grateful for the things that I have got. Rather, Arjuna, what he did, he put an arrow that fell at the feet of Dronacharya, indicating that he's offering his obeisances. And Dronacharya gave back blessings by sending an arrow that just like touching Duryodhana's head. So, sorry, Arjuna's head. So this is the this is the attitude and the feeling of Arjuna. But for Duryodhana, teacher or friend, everyone is, how can I use them for me? Right? So, so he said that Duryodhana pointed out the mistake and then saying that don't be uncompromising in the fighting. By this, he wanted to point out, don't be lenient in the Pandavas. So basically, Duryodhana is becoming the teacher of his own teacher, telling him what to do and what not to do. Okay. So then Duryodhana is starting to describe great heroic bowman, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. So in his army, who are there? Apart from Dronacharya, is telling Yuyudhana. In the Pandavas army. So he's first saying, first the Pandavas army, the commander in chief is Drishtadyumna, and Drishtadyumna is not a great obstacle, but there are other fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada. Drupada is Drishtadyumna's father. And also he's saying there are other powerful fighters whom each of them, there's a reason why their names are mentioned, and there's a story also who's behind them. Kunti Boja, to whose uh, to whom Pritha was given, and so Pritha is uh, Kunti Devi. Kunti Boja's daughter, adopted daughter, was Pritha, so she got the name Kunti. And so the Pandavas are also called Kaunteyas, the son of Kunti, and Shaibya. So we'll see how he made alliance with this. So, okay, let's continue. Text 6 to 10. Anybody else who wants to read? Abba Mataji, yeah.
Text 6. There are mighty Yudamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripacharya, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta, called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. We are to read the purport?
No, only the translation.
There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military sciences. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
Hmm. So he's saying this, he is giving an who are all the main warriors in the Pandavas side, and then in his side also. So we'll see that. So Kauravas, as we know, Pandavas went out. What did they do? So as Kauravas, they subdued different kingdoms, they acquired wealth, they made some friends, and then they made some enemies like that. But in the Pandava during the exile, Arjuna got Pashupatastra from Lord Shiva. From Indra, he pleased Indra and he got many divine weapons. He went to Indra Loka and he killed Nivata Kavachas, like this. So they were in exile, but they were using their strength to, in a goodness, in a way of goodness, in the mode of goodness, to improve their strength. And so since Yudhishthira lost the dice game, we see that, he learned game of dice from the Gandharva Chitrasena, and that is what helped him take a role of Kanka during the Virata Parva, during the year when they had to be in incognito. So like this, they were all equipping themselves with blessings and also with tapasya and with many celestial weapons. So there were So there was Kauravas had few, friends, and which was like Gandhari, their moms coming from the place Gandhara, which is Kandahar now, Afghanistan. Sindhu, Jayadratha is from Sindhu, and Cambodia is from Cambodia. So that's why we see in the eastern countries we have so much relics that is connected to Ramayana and Mahabharata. So Pandavas had, how did they have so huge army that Duryodhana was stunned? Because throughout, when they were walking in the forest, and even before they went into the forest, they had powerful alliances by marrying in from powerful dynasties. So we see Nagas, Arjuna and Ulupi, Arjuna's son Iravan. I mean, he also was killed in the battle, but he did really, you know, he was a terror for the Kauravas. Same way, Bhima's son, Bhima and Hidimba's son was Kadotkacha. Like that, Matsya Desha was Abhimanyu and Uttara. So, like this, some details of who married who from different countries, from different dynasties, and they had their support. So, there were 11 Akshahuni of army for the Kauravas, and Pandavas had distributed leadership. There are different kings, and they were in charge of different areas of fight. So, like this, they had 7 commanders with the 7 divisions. So, each one was very, very well versed in their place, and they were doing strategic move uh, with whatever, astras and the things they were expert at. So, we see that, the team spirit of Pandavas and Kauravas, if we see, Karna wanted to prove his superiority over Arjuna, and Shalya, as we discussed, was Pandava's uncle. Originally, he wanted to come and give support to Pandavas, but Duryodhana, like spread a net for him, that Shalya made Shalya promise that he will be in Duryodhana's side. So Bhishma and Drona and Kripa, they had to protect the throne of Hastinapur. So they were there. So each one had to be there for some reason. So there are Bhishma. Karna said, until Bhishma is there in the battlefield, I will not come to fight. So similarly, there were so many, uh, you know, uh, unfavorable equations and things that's happening in the Pandava side. But in Kauravas, they all respected Yudhishthira. Whatever Yudhishthira said, everyone else followed. And Yudhishthira knew that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Yudhishthira always was virtuous, even in the war. He was always doing the right thing and following the order of the Lord. So, and he consulted with everyone. So, but, Duryodhana had this. We see this, if we have traces of this, everybody here, if we introspect, we can see we have traces of Duryodhana, and, some often, many times, or always, and sometimes here and there, traces of Yudhishthira also. What is in it for me? Even a team player. That's why TEDx talking, team playing, because people, everything they see, if I cooperate with the team, will I get credit separately? Otherwise, why should I do this? See, this is all Kali Yuga, thing. So um, he was always thinking about me and mine. Okay, whereas uh, Yudhishthira was thinking about that what is good for everyone. Okay, after all, they are my brothers. What is wrong if they rule? He's not that bad ruler. This is what Arjuna is also thinking. Yudhishthira is also thinking. In spite of so many injustices done to him. So, and they all had this devotional spirit to the Lord, and they followed the Lord. So, if we don't have this understanding of Bhagavad Gita, whom we are, why we are, how to lead our life, then obviously only the whole system is cultivating our Duryodhana mentality. They say team spirit, but still you should be the winner in the team. You should get credit for everything. So from the beginning, we are known to compare with the friends. Oh, your friend, and then she's studying in this university, she got into this college and this, then this career, and they're making this much money. So always from the beginning, from kindergarten to the end of the life, there is no end to our Duryodhana mentalities because we always compare, want to be in the center. So, for teamwork, if we want to really be happy and peaceful, it will come only when we understand the whole, plan of God. And where am I in this plan? How do I fit in this plan? So, such devotional spirit, if we cultivate, then we can understand Bhagavad Gita very nicely, not only theoretically understand, but practically apply in our life also. But unfortunately, our Duryodhana mentalities are so strong. It keeps, chasing us. But, it's like this, like a glass of water and then you pour milk. If you want to fill the glass of water with milk, without pouring the glass of water down, a jug of milk is poured into the glass of water. First, the milk will spill out. But if we keep pouring the milk, then the water will spill out and the glass will be filled with milk. So that's what we are doing by reading Bhagavad Gita. So from me to we are trying to change. Who, why? What am I in this, and how can I cooperate with God and follow His order, His desire? Then we are not alone. Otherwise, like the end of the life, Duryodhana had unlimited anxiety and at last failure also. Okay, so we'll continue with the reading. Okay. So Duryodhana has finished telling about his army and the army of the Pandavas. Okay, from text 11. Can anyone else read? It's not Megan. Yes. Please unmute and read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
Text 11. All of you must now give the full support to great grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic point of the entrance into the flanks of the army. Text 12. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandheir of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighter, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like a roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. Text 13. After that, the conch shell, drum, bugle, trumpet, and the horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was contagious. Text 14. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on the great chariot drawn by the white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Text 15. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajana. Arjuna blew his Devadatta, and Bhishma, the ferocious eater and the performance of Herculean task, blew his terrific conch shells called Pondarak.
Poundra. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So we see here from text 10, the purports are for homework for us to read. So he's saying that his strength is protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the other Pandava strength is protected by Bhima. Why? Because he's always scared of Bhima. Bhima made 3 vows. I would kill all the 100 sons of the Kauravas, and he said I would break open the chest of Dushasana and bring the milk, bring the blood for Draupadi too, because Draupadi said, I'm not going to do this hair which has been held by Dushasana. So imagine what a pain it is for a lady not to comb her hair for 14, 13 years. She was ready to undergo that. So I will bring the blood from Dushasana's heart, who dared touched her with a, and pulled her by the hair. And the third one was, because Duryodhana was showing his thigh and telling, you come and sit here. Actually, Karna also told that you already had 5. Why don't you why don't you marry one more? And then Duryodhana showed his thigh that you come and sit here. Like that. I mean, imagine such cruel words, and even now they'll be booked by the police if anyone now does that. And that too, she was the only lady, she was a queen, and still she had to undergo all this. At that time, Bhishma said, okay, I will break your thigh. So at time Bhima said. So constantly Duryodhana is remembering these 3 things from Bhima. And so he's saying specifically they were protected by Bhima. And then he gives his final order. Everyone should, stand in their respective places. Don't be lethargic. We are protected by Bhishma, but he's a grandfather. He's an old guy. He cannot do on his own anything. So, so we all have to be careful because he's a diplomat. He's always appreciating someone, and every name he takes, there is a why part to it. Why he's telling that. So there is an agenda inside, and then something is talked outside with some other agenda inside, right? This is hypocritical behavior. And so when he said all this, Bhishma didn't speak anything, but he just blew his conch shell loudly and, giving Duryodhana joy. But actually, Bhishma is telling him a definite thing. I told you so many times not to meddle with the Pandavas, but now you got me into this war at this point of time. Now, your fate will be decided. That was the meaning of Bhishma's conch shell, but it looked like, he started, basically, he is starting the war with blowing the conch shell, and Duryodhana is very happy, thinking that Bhishma is in his side fully. Then we can see, everything else is combined sound of all these instruments was there sounded. And then here comes the chariot of Krishna and Arjuna. It was a chariot drawn by white horses, and it was given by Agni, and there was a mark of a flag bearing Hanuman in that, and wherever Krishna is there, Lakshmi is also there. Actually, now we all want Lakshmi, but we don't want to worship Narayana. So that's why we have a picture, curated picture. I want studies, so I will keep Saraswati in the picture. I want money, so for money, Lakshmi. And for getting my vidya, my knowledge and my education, and for getting any money, I don't want any obstacles, so I keep Ganesh. So this is how, the famous, but they 3 are not connected at all. Ganesh is the sun, and, like that. But we want what we want because we are always thinking, what is in it for me? So, what we do, we want Lakshmi, but we don't want Narayana. We don't want to follow Bhagavad Gita or what Krishna says. But Lakshmi we want. It is like if someone asks me, will I give a blank check with my sign on them, the sign in the check to anyone? Why will I give? Right? Even the husband and wife don't nowadays, they don't trust each other to give a blank check with a signed check. So, but we are demanding from Lord, give me a blank signed check only. I don't want you. But rather, if I have a relationship with the Lord, then why will he not give that? Right? So Lakshmi and Narayana, Krishna and Radha, they both have to be worshipped. And we should see what Krishna has in store for us. What is his instructions for us. That is the first level of understanding or accepting Narayana, the master of Lakshmi in this. So text 15 says that Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya, and each conch shell had a name and they all blew that. Okay, let's read 16 to 20. Anybody? Okay, Nirmala Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
Text 16 to 18. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sugosha and Mani Pushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kasi, the great fighter, Shikandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, and unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others. O king, such as the mighty armed son of Shubhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Text 19. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious. Vibrating both in the sky and on the earth, it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Text 20. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words.
Thank you, Mataji. So we see the conch shells were blown. This is an indication of the start of the fight or battle. So each one had a conch shell, and whoever is in there in the side of the Pandavas, the unconquerable Satyaki, there are lots of nice stories, histories behind each one of them. In Mahabharat book, how they all came, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, the mighty armed son of Shubhadra. This is Abhimanyu. All of them, we can visualize how is it that when they all blew the conch shells, and it has mentioned that when they blew the conch shells, it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. But when Bhishma blew the conch shell, there was no such description that it shattered the heart of the Pandavas. It was not like that. So this shows, the team spirit. Then Arjuna, at that time, he's sitting in the chariot, and what happened? What did he do? He took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. He has already taken the bow and he's arranging the bow. And he wanted to shoot his arrows. At that time, he's seeing that the sons of Dhritarashtra had a military arrangement, and he wanted to understand that, who it is, how it is done. So he's speaking to Lord Krishna these words. So we'll read till text 23. Anyone to read 21 to 23? Yes, Reshma.
Text 21 to 22. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Text 23. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
Thank you, Mataji. So yeah, so he's asking, Arjuna is asking, please place my chariot in between the two armies. So his army is here, their army is quite a distance away, and they are all arranging the formation, and his army is also arranging the formation, ready to attack. But before that, he wanted the chariot to be driven halfway in the center so that he can see. And he wants to make estimate who's standing where and how powerful they are, like that. Then he's saying that I want to see them who came here to fight. And they have all come here to fight to please Duryodhan, who is evil minded. Okay, other than that, he had no other intention. He just wanted to make a estimate. Okay, so we will pause here for today. And we will continue in the next class 24 to 40, 46, the next part of this chapter 1. So the homework or the study work is to read the purport of these 23 verses. Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So do you have any questions or anything to share? Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, I'm always amazed at the level of strength of these warriors. I know it's a previous age, but I know Bhishma Pitama is equated to the strength of 1,000 elephants, and the conch shell, again, the roar of like 1,000 lions, and all these things. I don't think these are just like adjectives, right? They're like reality.
Exactly. And you know, how much ever gym we go, we cannot come in, not we are, we are ants compared to their strength.
Yeah.
Their strength is in the mode of goodness
Mm,
and for the purpose of good purpose also.
mm, mm. So, but I mean, if we follow, it won't happen. Like because the yuga is just not conducive for that kind of power, right?
We can't reach up to them, but we can at
Mm.
least reach up to what Kali Yuga can, offer up to the.
Entails.
But
Yeah.
that's, that was part of the sages or saints' routine only. But
Mm,
beyond that, they had a purpose. They were mentally strong. They had
mm.
mental discipline and tapasya. Like they could undergo any amount of voluntary suffering for this, for they know that this is good for me ultimately.
And this was also pushed from the leadership, right? All goodness was pushed from top down.
Yeah.
But now all negative things is pushed from top down.
Yes, that's the that's a sign of Kali.
Mm. Thank you, Mataji. Very good.
Yeah, thank you. Chander Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. My question is, both sides were very spiritual. It seems like they were devoted to Krishna, like both armies.
Not
And
armies, not Kauravas army. Only Pandavas were, because Krishna went to Kauravas to ask them not to fight and to make a peace making, but they did not agree on that. The
but
Kauravas.
my understanding is they knew how powerful Krishna is. If we go to the present life, present world scenario, if the two armies are ready to fight and there is a mediator like Krishna, in this case, we like both sides usually listen to them, or they believe or not, go for a fight or not, that's a different story. But the thing is, I'm just going to the subtle level, in the deep down, especially Dhritarashtra, son side. Is there like like uh, they knew they are the cousins of the other side, and but they were very cruel, very cruel to their own blood related cousins, and also to not listening Krishna in
Right.
this. So in this, what like you, I just want to clarify, is that the ego which covers the mind to doing all this,
Yeah.
or the anger?
Ego, false ego, anger is also, when the desires are not satisfied, then the anger comes about. It's all because I should be in the center. I don't care who's God or what his plans are. So that was their mentality. So if we don't uh, understand intellectually and also practically put Krishna in the center of our lives, obviously we will be in the center of not only our lives, in the whole world. And we will think everybody should listen to us. And I should be, the undisputed one who will say something, and everyone else in the family, in the friends, in the workplace, everyone should just follow me. But there's no problem in that. But the problem is we are a bunch of people who are all thinking the same. So we obviously there will be only clashes, right? So except for Bhishma and Dronacharya, who were great devotees also, who knew Krishna's, Bhishma kept telling that you cannot, there's no possibility of you winning this war because Krishna is in their side. So that was the situation there. But if we come to us now, in Kali Yuga, Duryodhana and Arjuna both are in the heart. We are Arjuna sometimes, the Duryodhana part also is in the heart only. Right? So this fight is happening in the heart for us now. So much, the mind. So that's why more than Arjuna and more than for that yuga, we need Bhagavad Gita for our own peace. To keep us in peace, to know exactly what is right and what is wrong, and to do the right things.
So what I see, it's like a ego, anger, and then material world, kingdom.
Yeah,
So it's like, isn't this a Maya kind of they are running after?
right. Very much.
So in this, like if we bring Krishna in the center of the attention, how the even the Krishna is not helpful to them at this moment.
Yeah, because they don't want Krishna. Krishna was there actually.
Right.
But
So they don't want Krishna, and Krishna is not a help to the other side.
exactly.
So uh, if we bring Krishna in this can happen here. Like we see that. That's why the war goes on in present world, because nobody wants to listen to the right people.
Yeah.
You know.
There are some Arjunas also who are looking for Krishna. That's why Krishna is present now in the form of Bhagavad Gita and in the form of discussions. So, at currently, the Lord is how he is giving directions to Arjuna. Same way, that same directions is very much applicable to us in our life and to Arjuna like persons. And why Bhagavad Gita has to start with, Dhritarashtra's question, right? It could have started with Arjuna being confused and then Krishna answering Arjuna's question. The first chapter itself looks redundant. But first chapter is to tell us that if we have Arjuna like quality, then Bhagavad Gita will make sense. But if we have Duryodhana like attitude, then even though we read Bhagavad Gita, just like Dhritarashtra was not benefited, we will also not be benefited. That's the point.
And
So
sorry.
currently, you're asking that, the Kauravas did not want the Lord, even though the Lord was present, they did not care for him, they did not follow his instructions. Right now also it is like that more. Are you asking like that? What is
Yes.
the point when Krishna...
Like we see that we are running after the Maya, like money, and we have a lot of ego and a lot of anger. If even if somebody cuts on in the traffic our car, we get so mad, we start honking and all that. I mean, we have no patience. So my question is, if Krishna is here in this today's world, like I respect, like you guys breathe Krishna, ISKCON people, like what I'm noticing now. This is my first interaction with ISKCON. And so if Krishna is here, this could go on like this is happening in Bhagavad Gita, what we are reading.
Right.
Still, it can go on to start with.
To the world. Okay. Yeah, but they were like that. But after the war, what happened was they did not win. Right? So they lost the war. And so we can understand that sorry, 1 minute. So we can understand that when so in Bhagavad, how people like Duryodhana, even though they had so much of ego, he had the power, he was so calculative, so diplomatic, so everything come to me, but finally he gave up everything. So when we read this, then even a very calculative person's mind will change. Okay, I'm doing all this for what? Ultimately, to leave everything and go. So then he will start his um, following and this thing too. Uh, he will want to be calculative to get spiritual things also. Is that okay? Not everyone, but some are still looking. Right?
So in the beginning, like as Krishna is there, no, they won't listen Krishna either.
Yeah. But
Right?
there are, see, I also did not know about Krishna, or I had some weird idea of Krishna before I came to read Bhagavad Gita. Then many teachers explained to me. Now I know a little bit what is there in Bhagavad Gita, right? So like that way, when Krishna arranges for us to listen from someone who has that knowledge, and through like that he is present. How he was personally present in Kurukshetra war, but now by this means of discussions, okay, arranging someone to talk to us. So like that he is present, and it's upon us also to take it. See, I just put this, okay, come on Monday and Thursday. First 115 people were coming, now only 45. We have to see how many. So it's still your choice, right, whether to come or not. Like that way, Krishna is giving these choices and seeing whether we are picking it up. If we pick it up, then we go to the next level. Then we go to the next level. And the final level will be seeing him face to face.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
I'm
Krishna.
missing your questions in the chat.
I don't know. It's when I read this Bhagavad Gita many times. Every time I have this question, because it's very relevant what we go through day to day and all that. But now I think I am at the spiritual platform, which is much deeper to reading this book. And so that's why I'm asking you. Otherwise, I won't ask anybody. I never asked anybody.
I know, no,
I
no.
just,
You used to text me your questions now before. I was telling that I didn't get any questions from you recently.
okay. I really like the summary in the beginning. I
Right.
have many things to ask about Sanatan Dharma.
Wonderful.
Uh,
So you can talk and we can ask and also read the purports of these 23 verses before the next class on Monday, and you can text if you have any questions.
because as I'm just uh, getting impression like all the scriptures which were written before, it still reflect this world,
Very
and
much.
we should follow this. And
Exactly.
if we follow these scripture, which is easier when we have set black and white rules front
Mm,
of us, it could be much easier.
right.
But I want to make sense of it, like, you know,
That's what
and
we
I
are
think
here for that.
one is doing wonderful job in that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to learn from this or understand this perspective. That's why I asked. My question will be very different.
Yes, yes. Thanks. Thank you for the questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Abba Mataji.
Jai Sri Krishna Mataji. Mataji, my question is not related to the essence of this Bhagavad Gita, but I'm just curious to know about the physique of the Kauravas and Pandavas. They were having so much of strength. Is there any mention how tall they were and how uh, any idea about?
There. I don't know exactly how tall they were, but they were
Because
quite
someone
tall.
was mentioning to me that probably Kunti was 20 feet tall. I do not know.
Yes, probably yes. Because if you go to Vrindavan, you see there is a place called where the feet of the Lord Krishna is there when he was 7 years old.
Yes,
Charan Pahadi. But that feet is like even two adults' feet could go, I mean, in that. That is
yes,
the length for when Krishna was 7 years old, that feet was. And also it is mentioned that he used to graze the cows from Vrindavan to Govardhan.
right.
Now, Vrindavan to Govardhan, you have to go 45 minutes by bus.
Yes.
Previously, he was just coming, grazing the
Mhm.
cows and coming. So definitely their height must be much taller than us. We are 6 feet. Surely, I mean, 20 feet is acceptable one. I don't know if anybody knows authoritatively. I can check with my friend and let you know. But I'm definite that they are more taller. They lived more longer, and so obviously they had more strength, and they were following the principles also nicely. They were not eating junk. They were fasting when they had to fast. There are set times they used to eat set things, and that way, their physical strength was also not contaminated. They did not get GMO ingredients, this and that.
Mhm.
Right.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Mega Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Krishna.
Mataji, I have a question regarding like back in the time you said that Bhishma Pitama was in a mode of goodness, so as Dronacharya too, right?
Mhm.
So if they were in a mode of goodness and the Kauravas were in a mode of ignorance, my first question is why Bhishma Pitama were on their side. The
Mm.
second question is uh, I forgot my second question by the way.
Okay, let me try to answer. Then by the time you might get the second.
Yes.
So, see, Bhishma Pitama had a vow to protect the throne of Hastinapur.
Mhm.
So he has to be on the side of Hastinapur. He cannot fight against the throne of Hastinapur. And he tried telling Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana so much that you don't do this. Duryodhana, this is wrong. And even Karna also he said. So that's why, but Duryodhana did not listen.
Mhm.
So when as a city of Hastinapur, like even in modern times, if you see Israel, there are two parties. one party agrees that, okay, you have to fight with Palestine like this. The other party doesn't agree. But whether they agree or not, they have to go along with the state's decision, what the state takes. Even now, it's like that. So
Mhm.
Bhishma Pitahama was forced to, did not want to involve in this fight. But then when the fight was declared, he cannot go and fight against against the government in Hastinapur. So that was his state.
Oh, okay, so in that case, my second question was that uh, then okay, so here how you choose, like it's his free will, it was his prarabdha, or he was acting under the mode of goodness, like it doesn't matter, like it's Bhishma Pitama or Dronacharya. So what is more important, like your prarabdha, your free will, or you are acting under the three modes of goodness?
Okay, free will and acting in the three modes is the same. I mean, you
Okay.
choose what to act. And that's why, even though they were so powerful, where in the history that, the students have defeated or won over the teacher, even though they were very powerful, they were very in the mode of goodness because they had to side by one who's in the mode of ignorance and who had done many offenses. They also ultimately had to die.
Mhm.
That's the lesson.
Okay.
Yeah, there are many other factors. If we read Mahabharat, we'll see in
Mhm.
detail. Bhishma Pitamaha was the one who employed Dronacharya. So Dronacharya had to follow what his, employer, whatever he does. So that way they were forced to. I mean, Dronacharya, it was his last thing to fight against the Pandavas. Everybody knew, even Duryodhana knew that don't be lenient to your affectionate to Pandavas. So it was an austerity for them. But certain things, certain people do to give us a lesson. Even though you're great, you're very moralist, you're did, but if you support or have to support a person who's full of evil tendencies, then what his end will be your end also.
Mhm.
That's the thing.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so um, okay, we'll take this as a last question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I had a question as a build-up of what Abha Mataji said with regards to the physique of the fighters. That was very intriguing. So I had a question regarding whether there's an optimal height, a body build for the Kali Yuga that enhances, because it seems like the bigger the bodily build, if you look at all the warriors, the higher the state of consciousness. And the only references we have today is in the animal kingdom, like elephants, rhinos, big creatures. They embody, I won't go as far as to say sattva guna, obviously, that is, they are still animals. But within the animal kingdom, they do embody a sense of sattva, would you not say, within the animal kingdom? So what is there a correlation between or is it separate for animals? Is there a correlation between body size and spiritual pedigree?
Usually not. If you see, Duryodhan was actually equal in strength
Mhm.
to
Oh,
Bhima. He was
yeah,
also
that
very
answers.
powerful and well built,
Yeah,
But
I didn't think of that. Yeah.
depends
Yes.
on what they stand for, principles.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mataji, sorry, I have one more question. When we were reading, it was coming in my mind. The teacher Dronacharya, you said, taught the student everything, even though he knew that they will not use the way he's teaching. So, in teacher's role, if we go to the teacher's role, if the student is mischievous, uh, is that 100% knowledge should be given to that teacher, or we should verify the teacher, the student to student, how sincere the student is, how pure the student is, how it will take you further, which way. So if the teacher is teaching 100% to the not so good student, that student might take disadvantage in future and do something harm to the society.
Okay, yeah, that's what now they are checking the students' mental health also. If you see, in every grade there is a mental health questionnaire that comes. Whether this student is okay, will he? What is it? Do you get this thoughts? Do you get depressed? Do you get this that? They are trying to see. What is the student using the knowledge for? But basically, the teacher as a principal should give the knowledge equally to everyone. But also, that's why they qualify and they assess whether this person will use it in a proper sense. Like how to use the gun. There are not so many, how to do karate, how to do, martial arts, or how to play chess. There are so many clubs and so many places. How to use the gun, you cannot teach it. There are no private sector to see. It's only for military. They are only trained in that, because that could be misused, right? So like that, government itself makes laws, and who can do what. But as a teacher, in our rule as a teacher, I mean, we can't also, and we don't make much distinctions, cannot make also, and we usually don't make. We give the knowledge equally to everyone. But in case of like Dronacharya did not, that is the ideal thing to do.
So it's still right, you are saying.
Yeah, it's right.
Okay.
It's right. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Reena Mataji, you had a question. You can unmute and ask. Oh, you're unable to unmute. If you raise hand, I can try to unmute you. Okay, let's try. Oh, no. Maybe you can type in the chat your questions, if it's okay. Oh, you did. This battle is a part of Krishna's pre-plan to end that yuga. Yes, that's how it is said also. At the end of Mahabharata, it was like the end of Dwapara Yuga, and it was designed for this. That's right. I mean, that's the right thing. That's why Krishna, after he killed many demons himself, he used the Pandavas to continue, uh, to annihilate the demons and to protect the devotees. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, next time you can share. Yeah. Why did Dronacharya choose Kaurava's side? Because Dronacharya was a government employee. He was employed as a military teacher by Bhishma. So he had to work under Bhishma. He signed a contract. So he cannot, switch sides now. Like that. Yeah. Okay, devotees. So as promised, we will keep it short. Already it went 1.5 hours. So we will read the purport of the 23 verses and memorize the first verse for this week. And at one point of time, when we have memorized 10 verses, we will have an audio oral test also. We will come together and then we will try to recite the verses. And you see, if you are able to do this, then you can teach to 10 others and also your own children and others who may want this knowledge. So that's the reason we are including this as a part of the second level. And if you have any other questions also, you can text one of the admins or me, and we will keep it live with your questions and answers and observations. So thank you very much for your participation. We will pause here for today. And please read the purports of 23 verses from chapter 1. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.